Never experienced it, but we both will. Now just starting a YouTube channel in a time where a four-wheel transportation is not at hand, but luckily not too short of a distance, nor far unreachable on two-wheel pedals. I will take us to this adventure. Just came from work. Hey guys, on to another video. Right now I'm doing some testing on one of my iPhones, the one with the least memory. Actually I just purchased another one, the XS Max with 512 megabytes of storage. So the one I got here is 16 gigabit. The one I'm recording on has 64 gigabit. Tomorrow I have an adventure for us. We go in. It's gonna be a surprise. But I'm testing how long these memories is gonna last, because the adventure tomorrow, it's gonna be a 4-hour trip. So I am testing battery life. I may have to take these two phones tomorrow so I can get enough recording before I get my 512 gigabit iPhone. So see how it goes. Hope all goes well. Enjoy. Hey guys, and we're back. It's the day of the new adventure. I'm walking to the train station to catch a train to head over there. Gotta take a few trains. See how it goes. See you.
That we're underway. I have a few more things to go over with you. Because the Asteria is a Coast Guard inspected vessel, I'm required to go over all the life-saving equipment that we have on board. There are enough life jackets on board underneath marked benches and in marked cabinets. 4 orange throwable life rings are located on the outer decks, and fire extinguishers are placed strategically throughout the vessel. Inflatable life rafts are located in the white canisters on the top deck, so if you are up there on that 3rd deck, please do not sit or stand on them as they're under pressure, so we don't want them to deploy unexpectedly. But really along those lines, you always must keep both feet on the deck at all times. So what that means is no running or jumping, and especially no standing on any benches or railings. There is no smoking on board at any time, including electronic cigarettes. And again, if you're looking for the restrooms, they're down on the bottom deck at the very...
That's mom and grandma. Why did you sit? I'll take a look.
Through the harbor, I'll point out some of the sites that we're seeing and try to relate them to the animals in the environment.
Just a couple minutes. That big brick
Not
building
point
over
out
there.
anything today, what I'll
Or
do
the
is
green
turn
buoy on this side,
into
we
the
go by,
face
we
of
go
the
up to
giant
30
clock.
knots.
With the bow or the front of the boat is 12
Sunglasses,
o'clock.
loose
The right side
clothing,
or starboard
paper
side
plates,
3 o'clock.
small
The stern
children,
and back of the boat 6 o'clock.
all
and the
overboard.
left side or port side 9
There are
o'clock.
thousands of dollars worth of sunglasses
The
in the
Boston
water
was
up
built
here.
on the small Shawmut
We don't go back for
Peninsula,
them.
and the word Shawmut
The kids we
refers
might
to
go back
streams
for.
that would flow down the 3 hills that made up that original
Yankees
peninsula.
hats.
And due to a process called wharfing out, which was when long wharves were built off that original coastline, having land from surrounding towns pushed down and filled it in, about 3/4 of downtown Boston is built on this artificial land, marked by these wharves and rockwalls.
They said a lot of stuff on fire.
Sarah, take your hat off. Take your hat off. Because they said it'll fly off.
Alright, now watch for a fluke from this one. Alrighty, so those two whales just went down on a bit of a deeper dive. Will very likely be a couple minutes before they come back up. So while we're waiting, just kind of take a peek around. If you have any kids around you who obviously wouldn't be able to see, if you want to let them right up to the railing, you're going to be able to see right over them. But it is really important. I know it's a really, really calm day out here, but we do always need you to keep both feet on the deck at all times. So just please no standing on any benches, railings, anything like that. So I've been looking the whole ride out here, and then I just kind of got my stuff ready to come back up to the third deck and really kind of have a 360-degree view. And I could see these big black objects in the water. And a lot of times we'll see certain types of debris, usually not as big as a whale, but it's not unheard of. They kind of look like a log. So what I think that these whales were doing was in fact a behavior that we call logging, which is what we call it when they sleep.
Did you really?
When these whales are logging, obviously you can see before they dove, they weren't really moving around a whole lot. So it looks like they were maybe taking a mid-morning nap. Now when whales sleep, they don't shut down, they don't completely fall asleep like you and I do. They shut down half of their brain at a time. Typically sleep with that one half of their brain for maybe 20 to 40 minutes or so, and then they'll wake up, continue on swimming, or maybe go to sleep with the other side of their brain. So that's why they weren't moving, then all of a sudden they were. That's typical. But the trick is now, we don't know exactly where they're going to come back up. So you want to be looking in all directions, not only for these two humpback whales that we've already seen, but we're just kind of starting our main focus of our search. So very well could be other whales in the area too. So that out there at 1 o'clock, that is our wake. So you're watching, you're just going to kind of see it. Just make these repeated patterns. Animals don't usually move in the same way over and over. But there are tiny critters called zooplankton that are eating phytoplankton, and schooling fish are here for that plankton. So then the bigger whales, like the two humpbacks we're watching, are looking for fish. The humpbacks typically are in this area from about the early spring all the way through the end of the summer and the fall. A lot of the times as late as November or December. see as they come to the surface, just kind of hanging out. It's harder to see if you're on the bottom deck. Up here you might be able to see that bright green color next to each whale, and those are the flippers. So if you are on the lower deck, your vantage point is just a little bit different and probably really difficult to see. But basically you see these lime green patches on either side of each whale, and those are their flippers that are the equivalents of our arms. So they're actually white, so they just look green because of the phytoplankton. Make sure you keep both feet on the deck, kids included, but if you could please take a quick peek around for any kids who can't see. They go right up to the railing. You're going to be able to see right over them. We'll kind of swing around, and as long as they stay to the surface, I'll have them up on the left side too. So on each of these whales, they have that kind of hump in front of their dorsal fin, how they got their name. Really good look at the two blowholes that are side by side, which are like the equivalents of our nose.
Wanna see them over here?
And the mist you see, like I said, it's not quite water, but it's more like the moisture from their lungs, sort of like a sneeze. So this whale on the right here, you're going to see a white spot next to her dorsal fin. So it makes her very, very easy to recognize. So I say that because we're able to tell these whales apart just simply by the markings on their body. Now with humpback whales, we're mostly looking at the bottom or the underside of their fluke. So if they dive again, you're going to see some white and black markings. What's really fascinating is that those markings are as unique as a fingerprint. So they can range from being all white to all black and usually somewhere in between. Now this whale that's closest to us here with that white spot on her dorsal, if you can see that, right there. So like I said, it's just kind of another marking that makes her very easy to recognize. So kind of like how our faces are unique, but then some of us might have a scar on our arm, or you might have like a freckle or mole elsewhere in your body. Kind of the same thing for her. And in this region of the world, humpback whales are given names based on the markings on their tail, rather than using just a catalog number. So on this whale closest to us, she has a mark that if you were to look at a map or an aerial photo of the Nile River, sort of S-shaped portion of it. So this whale closest to us is a whale named Nile. So you can see it's not a person's name or a pet name or even gender specific, because by the time they get their names, they don't usually know if they're male or female. So you can see these two whales really just about as asleep as a whale can get. Obviously they stay very close to the surface. That makes it easier for them to breathe. So the whale on the left, I have a guess between two different whales. So I mentioned that Nile has been known to hang out with a handful of different whales, and not to say that she wouldn't associate with any other whale, but for whatever reason, they seem to pick their buddies. And so you narrow that list down to the whales that have these really sharp, pointy dorsal fins like the second whale does. My guess is either a whale named Scylla or possibly Pitcher. So I'm gonna look at their fluke and see who that whale on the left is. In any case, the other whale that I think is also a female. So when we do see pairs like this, it's very rarely two males. Sometimes male and female, but a lot of times they're two. Not like that whale. Alright, watch for her fluke here. Alright, and in fact it is Scylla. Alrighty, and then you might have been able to see right there the mark that gave Nile her name. So Scylla was given her name based on the Greek mythology of Scylla and Charybdis. So she was born in 1981. Nile was born in 1987. We know that because they were both seen as calves with their respective moms, who were both different whales. Scylla's mom was a whale named Ishtar, and Nile's mom was a whale named Mars. Unfortunately, we know that Ishtar was, she passed away, I believe, in the winter of 2013. She was found washed up on a beach in New York. Mars, as far as I know, is still alive. But since seeing these two whales as babies with their moms, that's how we know about how old they are. So females are typically pregnant for about 11.5 months, and they give birth on the breeding grounds, which is off the Dominican Republic in an area called Silverbank. Those little guys are born, and then they follow mom up to the feeding ground, and when she begins to migrate south again, that's typically when the calf goes off on its own. So by that point, that calf is almost a year old. So if we were to see a calf here on Stellwagen Bank, we know that it was born around January and March, 6 to 8 months beforehand. So Scylla is the whale on the left. We're just discussing how she got her name. So some of these fluke patterns are kind of up to her interpretation. Niles are really easy. If you, like I said, if you were to look at an aerial view of the Nile River, you would say, oh yeah, there it is. Scylla, I don't know. But again, Nile's a whale, so she has that white spot on her dorsal fin. But look just forward of that, just to the right of it, you're going to see a little black divot. It's kind of hard unless you really, really know what you're looking at, but just forward of that hump of her dorsal fin, she actually has a scar from a satellite tag. when they're asleep like this, the whale's blowholes barely break the surface. Now they exhale at over 300 miles per hour, so any water that's on top of their head is part of what you're seeing in that spray of mist. They also have what we call a splash guard right at the front of their blowholes, so that when it's touched by water, it actually reflexively closes. Because those two blowholes connect to their lungs. They have nothing to do with their mouth or their throat or eating. Mentioned that Nile has a scar from a satellite tag. She does not have that tag on her anymore. The longest that these types of tags stayed on a humpback whale was about 10 months. So give researchers a better understanding of exactly where the whales are spending their time on a daily basis, whereas we just use the photo identification to understand where whales are going more long term. That's how whales were matched from areas around here down to the Dominican Republic where they mate and breed.
Wow, look how close they are to the boat. Crazy, that's how close they are.
Again, these two female humpbacks, probably about 50 feet long. And again, we know that they're females because they've both been seen with calves before, but otherwise you really can't tell just by looking at them. And then the glowing green that you see, those are their white flippers. So you might notice that we've stayed either parallel or behind them whenever we can, and that's exactly what we try to do every time we come out and watch whales. Now obviously, they can dive down whenever they want to, but you don't necessarily want to cause or force an animal to do something that it wasn't going to do anyway. We want to stretch from Scylla. Now watch for that fluke.
Wow.
There's Nile. And you can see that big white line at the base of her tail. That's unfortunately actually from an entanglement scar. But I want to go back and talk about, so remember how I literally just said you never want to do anything that will change a whale's behavior. And did you notice that as that boat inched closer, that's when they happen to dive?
That's when they happen to die.
Now, we've seen them dive before, so we can't say for sure that that boat caused it, but it just makes you wonder, right? So we always try to stay behind them, parallel to them, and you never want to approach closer than 100 feet. Now this other white boat I'm going to call out because the whales came close to them, they were just sitting there doing nothing, right? And so I always love when somebody like that gets rewarded with a great look at a whale because they didn't do anything to cause it. conditions. Been a great day to be out here. Lots of seabirds, of course, some great whale sightings. So come on up and join us. Otherwise, just sit back, relax, and enjoy your ride back to Boston. Great, how awesome is that? Our special there and worth our protection. Now, if you did have an exceptional experience and you'd like to show appreciation for your crew, gratuities are greatly appreciated. You can take care of your crew in the galley and the naturalists on the dock when you get off the boat. And if you do have any last minute questions, Allie and I will be there. So come on down, chat with us if you have any last minute thoughts or questions. So, but what an absolutely fantastic trip it was in this morning. I certainly hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you feel maybe a little bit inspired by these animals. And so on behalf of your captain and crew aboard the Asteria at New England Aquarium and Boston Harbor City Cruises, we wish you a great afternoon, and we hope to see you